The editing in this is so frenetic because when they introduce this, we see a fight before them and some guy gets killed and they like immediately dump him in a box and cover him with like produce, like bell peppers.
What was that about? Like, are they marinating him? What is going on?
I think Hello and welcome back to the 215th episode of Good Bad or Bad Bad, the show watch terrible movies of you should too. I'm gonna do more hand movements, Kyle.
We're excited. Look at all this action. We're doing wacky challenges and adventures to up our subscribers numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, welcome back to the. Well, I don't remember what I said. Where did I stop? I stopped at tell you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shologo. Joining me as always, the other host, Mr. Kyle Hinton. Kyle, your movie today
is basically Highlander.
There can be only one.
Yes, let's get this out of the way. Oh my God, Brian, you've never seen Highlander. I've never seen Highlander.
Oh my God, he's never seen Highlander?
Get that right out of the way at the beginning.
Brian doesn't know what a quickening is.
I do know what a quickening is.
I know everything. I am everything.
Although I did type that every time it happened in this, I did just say, and then he gets voiped into the nether instead of saying, and then the quickening happens. But
there were so many decapitations in this film. I was like waiting for the quickening.
Yeah. So this movie is called Mortal Conquest.
Yes.
His only reason to hope is who he used to be.
Also,
G2 for reasons.
That's what it is labeled as on IMDb is G2.
No clue why it's titled that.
Yeah,
Mortal Conquest makes way more sense.
Way more sense. I don't know what G2 would even be related, like what that would be making reference to. I have no idea. But the movie opens up with the lore, the backstory. We see this sword spinning through outer space. And basically, this is the Sword of Alexander, and it holds great power. At some point, it disappeared in the past, and people are looking for it. That's the story. Like, that's the whole thing.
The mighty sword of Alexander the Great, blessed by the Greek god Apollo, vanished during the conquest of Persia.
I will say I understood almost nothing of what was happening in this movie and who was doing what and why.
No, I mean,
for most of the time.
I guess if you knew a bit about like Alexander the Great and his like conquest to the east, it kind of stopped against Mongolian forces or something like that.
Sure. That is not remotely
anything.
relevant to what our characters in the movie are doing, really.
No.
But anyways, we start in the past. We start back in during the war between Alexander the Great and the Mongols. And the Mongols just like appear. They
just appear out of nowhere and
materialize.
Also, Alexander just doesn't have an army.
It's also, is he Alexander?
I don't know.
I don't think he is. I thought he was just like a soldier from Alexander's army or so. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's just this one guy against like 8 Mongolian warriors, I guess. I don't know. And then also, surprise, legendary actor James Hong.
James Hong is our main villain, and he is chewing it up. It is great.
Incredible. You may know James Hong from Big Trouble in Little China, Everything Everywhere All at Once, all of the Kung Fu Panda movies.
One of our previous films, Dragon Fight.
This is the 1990s. We're businessmen. We compete through corporate acquisitions.
Oh, yes, he was in Dragon Fight as well. I forgot about that. And a movie that I think was super underrated, but I bet also does not hold up at all, Balls of Fury.
Yes.
What'd you do that for? Don't take the cricket from my hand. Who the hell's a take the cricket from my hand?
I remember liking that movie when it came out, but I was like, I bet that movie does not hold up. Well, I don't know. But yes, James Hong, he is the villain of this movie, ostensibly. He's like, he shows up in the beginning as like the commander of this Mongolian army.
Yeah,
like he's the warlord, and these are all his like sons, he says?
I think so.
Later, he explains that.
The sword that killed my sons will be used to sacrifice you to my gods.
It is kind of funny, like you have like this wartime setting, but like there's no actual army. It's literally just like the important people and no one else.
Yeah. So they all fight, and then basically it ends with the what is Alexander the Great's race of people, or like what was the Macedonians? Yeah, the Macedonian warrior, because we don't know his name or anything at this point. He ends up getting killed.
We don't know that.
Well, sorry, he gets cut up.
It is perceived as him being killed.
Yes, and then we cut to modern day as he's seemingly maybe dying. The same actor is laying in a bed, and he like wakes up covered in stuff like sensors and stuff, and I was like, Kyle, is this Assassin's Creed? Is he in an Animus?
He's in an Animus, yes.
I was literally like, what are we? No, what is actually happening, we will find out, is that he's having like PTSD essentially.
Yeah, he's like reliving a previous life.
And he's trying to like get help from the doctors of like what's going on. I'm having these crazy nightmares. And so they were like studying him, I guess. And I love like the orderly like walks out of his room and there's like this woman doctor is like walking into his room and the orderly
he's like tells him who this is and he's like, yeah, he's a weirdo.
Yeah. My favorite part is he hands her the chart and goes, here's this guy's chart. And she goes, I'll take a look at him. And the guy goes, you're
Conlon's files.
I'll take a look at it.
Weird.
Thank you.
He's like, he says his response is so weird.
What?
It's just like a noise. He's like, yar. And I'm like, what's happening? Okay.
I'll take a look at it.
Weird.
Thank you.
But we find out that there is something wrong with this guy.
Yes. Other previous thing we mentioned with our main actor is he was in another film that we reviewed. Long
I don't
ago,
remember which one.
Future War. He was the dude who was sent in the past.
I don't remember anything about it.
That was like futuristic dinosaurs assassins after this guy from the future.
That sounds like you're making up a movie off the top of your head. Like that you might as well be. I was like, I don't remember.
It's an insane film.
Some of those movies like those that we do that are like that don't make a big. Might as well have never watched them. They
literally your connection to them only exists on the video and nowhere else.
Yes, literally. Katie and I had this discussion the other day. I have zero memory of ever covering the second the Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian movie. We did it on the podcast.
I thought you guys did that.
Well, and we just recently did the third one, which is the Voyage of the Dawn Treader or whatever. But when we were doing that one, I was like, did we do the second one? And she's like, yeah, we did it like 5 years ago. I was like, I have no memory of this.
Signs of early Alzheimer's.
Well, the thing is, like, I remember episodes we did before that episode, and it's the same thing with this, where like it's not memorable. It gets memory hold. Yeah. Certain things, just whatever reason, just don't make a memory in my head. Anyways,
Leave me alone!
so the psychologist, he's getting referred to by this doctor to another psychologist to try to figure out what's wrong with him. Then we cut to him in a Tai Chi class. Taking Tai Chi, wearing a full Tai Chi outfit. I looked it up because I was like, what is that? I don't know what that name of that outfit that Bruce Lee wears it a lot in movies. It's like, I don't know what that's called. Apparently it's a Tai Chi uniform. That is like what that is.
Yeah. And he's with like Shaolin monks.
Yes.
They're going through their training.
And then he hallucinates James Wong, telling him that he's repeating a cycle and then going like samsara.
Yeah, so like
Samsara. Repeating cycles.
James Hong also like his master of sorts?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why. Yeah, he just sees. I guess the idea is that this is the spirit of James Hong's character from way back in the day, like kind of trying to push him.
I feel like there was a longer cut of this film and stuff was cut out of it.
Very possible, because it does not make sense as is. I will say that. Then we go to Hong Kong, and this is where James Hong and his people are. And they're in like some thing, and some woman in a robe comes in and murders a gang like lord or whatever. And then her henchmen come in, and this is like all of James Hong's like crew, and they like get shot at, and they spin
blades to block it. It's great.
All the bullets. It's fantastic. And then a dude does get his head cut off like immediately.
Yes. I was like, "Where's the quickening? Where's the quickening?"
Doesn't happen in this moment. But then James Hong comes in, and he's like, I'm here. And there's some sort of deal going on.
Yeah, it's an Antiquities deal. They found the sword of Alexander.
Yes.
Somebody did. But Jane Hong, he knows about the sword, but the other people in the movie don't.
Yes, yeah. And then he tries to... Hold on. And then I think they go to a fight ring. This is our first Kumate that we see, right?
Yeah, it's literally just blood sport.
Yeah. Yeah, literally just blood sport. And they get there, and I'm still not exactly sure what was going on here. But there's this gigantic guy who fights James Hong's like second in command guy, Shang, I think is his name, or something like that.
He's the big hulking dude.
Yeah, he is also big, but he is even dwarfed by this other guy in this opening scene that is gigantic. The editing in this is so frenetic because when they introduce this, we see a fight before them, and some guy gets killed, and they like immediately dump him in a box and cover him with like produce, like bell peppers.
What was that about? Like, are they marinating him? What is going on?
I think the idea is that they're like that's how they get rid of the bodies or something, but it doesn't. Later we see them incinerating bodies in a thing, so I don't
throw them into a kiln.
I have no idea. But also, again, the editing is so choppy; it's like hard to even tell what's happening. It's so strange. But we find out, I think, in this moment or towards the end of this fight, or right as it's leading up to this fight between his guy, is that he is looking for the reincarnation of the dude that was the beginning, like the fight that back in time that we saw, the white guy. I don't even, like I said, I don't know what his ancestry is supposed to be. It's Macedonian, yeah.
I have waited for his return for 2,000 years, and I will find him.
James Hong is looking for the reincarnation of him for reasons.
Basically, all these people are like stuck in like a perpetual like birth and reincarnation like, kind of loop.
Okay, and that's, I guess, what he says when he's referencing the like samsara thing, and he's like, "You're stuck in a cycle." Earlier, when he like appears to him or whatever. Okay, sure. Back home, Steven, who is the name of our hero, he has been like having visions. So he is actually like drawing the sword. He has like these drawings he's made of the sword, and he also remembers some pretty lady on a horse, but he doesn't know who that is. But he has a drawing of a lady on a horse. He's like, I must find the lady. I don't know. Then the cops, we cut to some cops, and this is where we're introduced to our other main character, kind of, which is the lady cop who I cannot remember her name.
Who is
Corey,
100% not Alyssa Silverstone.
Oh my god, dude, my notes, there was like this lady looks more like Alicia Silverstone than Alicia Silverstone looks like Alicia Silverstone. It is insane.
Literally, the credit should have been Alicia Silverstone was too expensive.
Yeah, it's utterly insane. I was like, she looks so much like Alicia Silverstone. But they arrest some dude who has a throwing star.
Yes.
That has a symbol on it that's like a sun or something like that.
Yeah, so they have like an Eastern weapon with like a Greek symbol on it. And that's what's throwing everybody like, what is this all about?
Yeah. And then James Hong shows up at the precinct right after that, and it's like,
yes,
don't worry about that.
The worst counterfeit like fake ID possible.
Yeah, she looks at it like, okay, I guess that's legit. It's like not even close.
It could have said McLovin on it.
Literally. But he says that they're looking for a sword that was stolen. So if they find this sword, that's what they're looking for, and can they get it to him? So, but she needs to get some information on this throwing star. So she goes to our Steven, who we find out has like, his background is like ancient relics.
Yeah, he's like an antique dealer.
He's also a blacksmith.
Yes, he's a freaking blacksmith.
Every time
he's sitting there forging shirtless with just like a blacksmith apron on.
Yeah, just like forging swords, I guess, because he has a whole wall covered in like ancient swords. So I guess he makes replicas of ancient swords. I don't know. It's an incredible career for the hero of your movie, for him to be a blacksmith that makes ancient weapons. That's kind of cool. But he realizes when he sees the throwing star, he has like a flash in his brain that the symbol on it is the same symbol that's on the sword. So he knows they're like related somehow or whatever. So then we cut to the cop takes the guy she arrested with the throwing star.
They just bring him there to what is effectively a stakeout.
Yeah, they're gonna stake out this location where they think something's going down. And I love when they pull up, he has some of the best line deliveries. They arrive at this location and he's like,
because they've got guests from China that have brought over some magical blade and a ton of dough. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because I'm a dead man.
You can't leave me here. They've got guests from China who brought over some ancient blade and a ton of dough. I'm only telling you this because I'm a dead man.
Yes, it's great. Just exposition dump.
Oh my god. And the delivery is so bad. But they go inside and they run into some of James Hong's men. the Corey, who is the woman, gets held at knife point by one of the guys, and then her partner has to like fight the other guy and gets like sliced up.
Yeah.
Gets his cheeks sliced up so that he wears these dumb bandages on his cheeks the rest of the movie or whatever. Anyways, they chop through everything with those swords. It's not that interesting. Eventually, we find out. I was like, oh, she had her gun this whole time because at some point one of the guys is chasing her and she just turns around and shoots
just unloads him. For some reason, he can't deflect those bullets.
No, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to. We'll find out. But she shoots him and he like seemingly dies. I'm like, oh, so you had your gun that whole time? What were you? Okay, whatever. I thought she had lost her gun or something, but no. And then he's the other big guy. Shang is his name. Also, he was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I was like, I know this guy from something. He's like a henchman in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He's one of the guys Scott fights at some point. I don't know. But anyways, he's gonna kill somebody, but luckily Steven shows up just in time to save the day, and he fights Shang for like 2 seconds, and then Shang's like, "Fuck this,
Yeah.
I'm out of here," and bails. Meanwhile, the dude she shot gets quickening.
Yeah, he gets quickening. He's like kind of still alive and starts making some weird bubbly sounds or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like, because Steven's looking at him, right?
Yeah.
Right at this moment?
I think so,
And then we
yeah.
see the quickening basically happen. That he like turns into ethereal.
A ball of energy appears
Yeah.
above him, and then he like crackles and goes like, and like gets sucked into it, I guess. Yeah.
And now the body. Here's the thing: do they also like? Does that take like their blood and stuff with them and stuff?
I don't know. I have no idea how it's supposed to work. I couldn't tell what was happening.
Yeah. Well, they have no body now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to convince them that anything. Like,
you're right. The cops that show up there, she's like, I shot a guy and he's just gone. And there, she's like, oh, well, I don't know. I shot him and he seemed dead. So I'm not sure what happened.
One of them got away. The other one's in there with a slug in his chest.
I've been to the place twice. I can't find anybody, sir.
I also have no idea what the process of this is, because that guy gets killed like 5 times in the movie, right? Like this guy, the other, not Shang, but the other guy. He gets killed.
I thought there was a total of 4 of them. I thought this was one.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
The twins Yin and Yang.
Oh, I thought he kept coming back because I thought they had a line at some point where they were like, "Oh, he's back" or something.
I thought it was James Hong's his character.
That would make
and then
sense.
His 4 sons.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
that would make more sense. I thought for some reason he was like coming back,
and the daughter,
then, like they were killing. Yeah, well, is she a daughter?
Super, I think so, or something like that. But she's like super thirsty for Steven's dick the whole time.
Yes, we will get to that.
He's still good looking.
But meanwhile, okay, so that we know something's going on there with the magic powers or whatever. Meanwhile, we get back to another Kumate this time, and now this one opens up with a dude in a gimp mask fighting some other guy,
or with the
little
what are they called?
Hook sword
little scythe things.
Yeah, whatever those are called. Yeah. And I love there's this super while that fight's happening, there's this super long, boring montage of Steven and James Hong just like walking around the outside of the fight, like staring at each other, and
we're getting like flashbacks to the fight, to the old fight too.
And you're like, we get it. It's just like I think
they pad out the time.
I think they thought it was like super cool, like a Western standoff, where it's like, doo-doo-doo-doo, but it's nothing. Anyways. And like you said, he remembers from his previous life that it was James Hong's men that like stabbed him in the chest and killed him previously, or
what this
maybe
could have used was like an example of James Hong like mysticism powers, because that's kind of what he represents, is like the he's not like a brute force or like a weapons guy. He's the older,
wiser, like he's got all the plans,
like magic kind of guy.
Yeah,
it would have been more serviceable to have him do something kind of like Lopan, where he's like using some sort of mystic thing to make our hero in more danger than just having 4 bodyguards.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That was a lot of words for that I just said that meant nothing.
Yeah. Well, but then after this, I don't know what happens here, Kyle. Is the editing fucked, or is it supposed to be like he loses time because they're at this fight Kumate place?
Yeah.
Then he ends up in his living room briefly, or then he ends up on the roof with James Hong, and I don't know how they got there. I'm like, how did we? What just? They just
no clue.
There felt like there must have been a scene
also,
missing or something.
This roof felt like the same roof from Capital Punishment, the Gary Daniels song we did.
Yeah. James Hong invites him to the sword play, though. He's like, you can come to the sword play.
Why they call it's so dumb they call it sword.
Come join me for the sword play. You will find the answer to all your questions.
Yeah, but his thing is like, and I still, at this point, I'm like, what is anybody's motivation here? Because he's like, he's trying to get him to come do this sword fight thing, and he's like, you'll get answers. But I'm like, but what answers to what? And like, why would he do that? And why do you want him to do that? And I couldn't figure out. And then we will realize, anyways, it's so strange to me. Meanwhile, back in the Kumate, there's a dude who's a pirate.
Yes, yes, he's got a straight up pirate shirt on.
Why is he dressed like a Ren Fair pirate? Kyle?
All I heard was, well, one, Dread Pirates Roberts.
Yeah,
and then I could also hear Jerry Seinfeld going, I don't want to be in a, I don't want to be in a Kumate.
But I don't want to be a pirate.
But this Ren Fair pirate is kicking the shit out of this dude.
He is doing all types of crazy cartwheels.
And then he snaps his neck and wins. Or the pirate guy gets his neck snapped. I can't remember. Somebody's get their neck snapped in that fight and dies. But we find out then in this next scene that James Hong has the sword already.
Yes.
Why did he go to the cops and say, if you find this sword, I'm looking for this? But he has the sword.
The only thing that I can give this movie any credit for, the only thing I will give it any credit for, is maybe that they are using that as a ploy to draw out somebody else searching for the sword. Namely, the other guy.
Yeah,
namely Steven.
But is he looking for the sword? Because he doesn't even know what it is.
Possibly instinctively.
Yeah, maybe he's just kind of naturally, like, that's why he's drawing. I don't know. I could not understand what's going on here.
You say you want the sword for Alexander the Great, or is it for yourself?
Anyways, but he has the sword, and that's why I was like, oh, so why does he want Steven involved? That was maybe even confusing to me too, because I'm like, so why is he pulling Steven into this? I thought he was pulling Steven into this because he thought Steven might know where the sword was or was trying to use him to get the sword, but then he has the sword already, but I'm like,
this is definitely the area where things happen because the writer demanded that they did.
Yeah. Well, and it turns out ultimately that it's just he wants revenge, essentially, I guess, right?
Avenge me! Show me my destiny!
But he has to do it this very specific way where this guy fights a bunch of other people first for some reason.
I was hoping that they'd go to, like, if you do it this way, it'll trap his soul and he won't be able to reincarnate.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, but James Hong says that he wants history to repeat itself, but this time on his own terms. I'm like, okay.
I want history to repeat itself, but on my terms.
And he forces Steven to fight a reject from Kiss.
The fire breathing dude?
Yeah, who has a mace.
Great.
Who has like a flail mace with like a flame on the end so that he can drink alcohol and then like spit fire or breathe fire at people. And there's this incredible moment where the guy breathes fire at Steven, and Steven like intentionally, I don't know if he tries to block the flames with his leg, but he like kicks the fire and it lights his leg on fire, and then he starts kicking people with his leg on fire. It's like, why did you kick the fire? I don't understand. But anyway, so right though at the end of that, after their fight, like I think he refuses to kill.
Yeah, he refused to kill him. He's got him in a headlock though.
Yeah.
Our villainess, villainess.
Her name is Boy. I don't know how to pronounce it. Just BOI is what
but she pulls out a gun and shoots him from like the side, and it goes through like his stomach. And because he's the fire breathing guy, he just starts rocketing.
Yeah,
like,
what was that supposed to be coming out of him?
Yes, it's supposed to be coming out of him.
Oh, wait, what? I thought, that doesn't make any sense,
No, it
Kyle.
doesn't. It doesn't.
I thought he was wearing some sort of special like vest that had like.
No,
I don't know.
No,
like
it's supposed to be.
it?
It's supposed to be. He got shot through the stomach, and now he's just shooting rocket fuel.
But they show him drink the thing to spit. It's not like he can actually. He's not a dragon.
It's really stupid.
That makes no sense. I had no idea what was going on there.
I had to rewatch it a few times. Be like, what are they getting at?
Yeah, I literally thought there was like, oh, he must have some sort of weird vest thing for his fire spitting that has like gas in it or something. I don't understand what. And then Steven is just magically teleports back home. They just let him leave, I guess?
He's like, he just loses track of time or something.
Yeah, what happened there?
Here's the thing. He captures him, he puts him into this stranglehold or whatever, this random guy. Also a pit fighter.
Yeah.
But then after he gets shot, everybody just walks out.
Yeah, everybody sleeps.
Like everybody who just watched this fight and this guy being effectively held hostage, they just leave.
I don't understand. And then why do the bad guys just go, okay, go home, I guess? Like, what? I don't understand.
Because the movie demanded it.
I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all.
I'm busted out.
Anyway, so then he just ends up back at home, and I think Alicia Silverstone shows up at this point, and he tells her, or no, either him or her, or no, I think she says it. She's like, that this throwing star has the same markings as a sword that was stolen in Asia. And I was like, in Asia? You're not going to be more specific? Just somewhere in Asia? Okay.
I mean, specifically, I guess technically we know it's Hong Kong.
That these markings are the same as the ones that were found on the hilt of a sword that was stolen in Asia.
Yeah, we know. I was like, and
there.
she should know. I don't know. It's just so funny to me. She's like, it was stolen in Asia. I'm like, you can't narrow it down any more than that.
That's a lot of
that's a lot of different places.
Yes.
A lot of countries involved in that. Anyways, so Steven now he thinks that finding this sword or getting this sword or something will like end his PTSD. It will cure him of his PTSD.
You are now free of PTSD.
Is what he thinks. And also, this is the point where I realized upon Googling this main actor who he talked about who's been in stuff, that I was like, he was born in Switzerland.
Yeah, his accent. So they tried
That's
to
why he sounds
pass him
like
off
that.
as, I guess they tried to pass him off as an American.
I think so,
He was also
yeah.
like LAPD or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Which also the fact that they're trying to pass off what is clearly Toronto as LA is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because a few
That's
scenes.
classic.
I think on that rooftop scene, there's the reverse shot of Daniel Bernhardt's character. You can see a Canadian flag in the background.
Can you? I missed that. It's fantastic. Oh God. So then they go on a date. They basically have a little dinner date, and their conversation is so awkward. They open fortunes together, and they're the longest fortunes I've ever. It's like a whole sentence.
Expect a long trip to an exotic country and expect joyous fortunes to follow you everywhere.
Oh, that's nice.
I was like, normally when I get a fortune, it's just like, you will a pleasant surprise awaits you, or something super short and simple.
You suck. Try again later.
But theirs is like, it's like a whole story in there. Each of theirs is very interesting.
Always listen to your elders. They have experience. You only have time.
Meanwhile, her partner, after they leave the restaurant, her partner from the beginning of the movie is like spying on them.
Yeah.
And he seems pissed that they're like hanging out. I don't know what's going on there. If he's supposed to be in love with her, I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. Then we cut to another Kumate fight, and I love this one has a boxing announcer.
Yes.
He walks into the ring and
zero discretion at all, where they're like just loudly announcing, "Hey, here's our illegal blood sport."
Literally like a boxing arena microphone.
Let's get ready.
Yeah. He's wearing a tuxedo, Kyle. It's insane. So anyways, Steven shows up here again, and he's like, fight for it, fight for the sword and your troubles will be over. So he has Steven fight Shang for the sword, but then at the last second, Shang doesn't fight.
Yeah, this is where they bring in one of the twins.
They bring in one of the other guys, and maybe the fact that there were twins is what confused me and thought that was a guy coming back to life or something. I don't know. Anyway, so at the last second, a nunchuck guy comes in and is like, haha, you got to fight me instead.
So we meet again, and this time I will put you to him forever.
I was so confused at what was happening here, because at some point I think James Hong's guys gets the upper hand, and he's like, kill him. And I'm like, to the guy fighting Steven, but then I thought he wanted Steven to win at this point, because I thought the whole point was that he needed Steven to do something, but no, I think he just wants one of his sons to kill him for revenge. Okay, I guess.
I no idea.
It doesn't make, again, it kind of made sense at the end. I was like, oh, okay, these are all his sons, and they were like all fighting him, I guess, in order of like, who was most likely to kill him or something. I don't know. It's in like increasing difficulty levels because it's like a video game. I have no idea. Then Steven, I think, starts like hallucinating in this fight.
Yeah, he just loses touch with reality
or something, because he's just kind of standing there.
So he's just looking around aimlessly, and what he sees is like the fight in the past, him being surrounded by all the Mongolian army around him. And so is this where James Hong is just like taunting him, or
and he's like, kill him. Yeah.
Yes, and James Hong like whips out a fan, and he's like taunting him.
I think that might be. I don't know if that's this part.
That might be a later.
No, that's
part.
later. That's later. That part with the fans later. That's incredible. We'll get to that. No, this is just the part where he's just telling the guy to like kill him, and the guy like rushes him, and just kind of in a haze, Steven like falls backwards and like
impales him
and stabs this guy and kills him. And I love it. Cuts to the bookie who's been running like bets the whole time.
Yes.
He just goes,
I don't like this guy.
I don't like this guy. After he kills him, he's just like, I don't like this guy.
Great. The crowd does, though. They refer to him as Mystery Man.
Yeah, he is Mystery Man. And then Nunchuck guy gets voiped into the ether.
And here's the thing. Now, does he get voiped and then people leave, or does he leave and
I
then
don't remember. I do not remember.
I'll look at which one it is, because if it's he voipes and then people leave, no, everybody's like just completely nonchalant about a body dematerializing in front of them.
Yeah. They don't seem to care at all. Another thing that was really funny is that, like you said, as I mentioned earlier, this movie has James Hong in it, who also has a prominent role in Balls of Fury. The thing that was cracking me up was how much Corey's old police partner looked like Dan Fogler, the guy who plays the main. I was like, oh my god!
Whenever I saw his police partner, I was like, is this Andrew Dice Clay?
It does
kind of looks like Andrew Dice Clay a little bit.
Yeah, he gets his head cut off right here.
Yeah.
Fuck you!
He's doing something, and he gets his head cut off.
He's trying to arrest them or something.
But
he's outnumbered by like.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he goes in there and they just cut his head off and kill him. And then Steven and Corey arrive back at either her apartment or his apartment, one of the two, but they realize it's like open. So something's wrong. And I love that Steven turns out, she's a police officer, and goes, "Give me your gun." And she goes, "Okay," and just hands this random guy she's known for like a day her police issued sidearm, and it's like, "Here you go, you use this." It's like, what are you doing? But they like look through, and there's nothing there, or there's nothing going on at that point. But then he at some point he finds this note or something. I have this thing. He reads this note. That I think it's after he searches through this, he finds like a note left on his desk or something that says,
"Love you forever and ever, wet kisses, Isis."
Love you forever and ever, wet kisses, Isis.
Yeah.
And I was like, boy, Isis has really changed their MO since this movie came out. Anyways, I was like, what is okay? And we will find out later that Corey is the reincarnated Isis.
Yes.
I think.
But I think the person who left the letter obviously
was Boy or whatever. Yeah, the other woman who's also. When I say reincarnated, none of them are actually reincarnated, right? They're just have been alive this whole time.
No, I think they're reincarnated.
Okay,
I think it's an endless cycle of like death and reincarnation.
I could have swore there was a moment at the end, which makes sense with the other stuff they said. I could have swore at the very end of the movie that James Hong, or no, when he's like squaring off with James Hong or something, I thought there was one line where our main character goes like,
"Avenge their deaths." Yeah.
I've never died.
"I never died," or something like that. He's like, "Oh, you know what I'm talking about?"
Yes.
I
think that was.
What is
he didn't actually die on the battlefield.
Oh,
I'm not.
I thought that was insinuating that like he has never died. Period. Like originally, like I thought that like
I don't think it's like directly Highlander where they're just immortals who have been walking.
That's kind of what I thought, maybe, but maybe I don't know.
I think they're just like
he has been like reincarnated.
Cycle of reincarnation.
Okay, that makes sense or whatever. He looks at Corey though and thinks that he kind of remembers her, and she's like, "Try harder," and then they kiss and then they have sex, and I guess that makes him remember her from his past life or whatever. I
don't know. Let's try something else to see if we can jog my memory.
Yeah. This is you. You're reincarnated.
You're reincarnated.
I am. It's true.
Somebody at some point says reincarnated with like the emphasis on a really weird spot. But he is reincarnated. And then we cut to another Kumate, and this time they have actual gladiators fighting.
Yes, like straight up like bucklers and everything.
Yeah, with like the spear and the net and shit. I'm like, we got like actual what is happening? This is insane.
Come on.
Also, the bookie I realized in this scene, I don't know if it's the same one from earlier, but the bookie in this scene in particular looks like a Tim Heidecker character. He looks like Tim Heidecker doing a bit.
While he's taking bets, he to promote it more, he looks at everybody. He goes, "Hey, it's free real estate. It's free real estate.
It's free real estate."
Oh my god. Meanwhile, Steven is suiting up to get ready for the big final climax here.
Which I like how his like garb is just a sleeveless like leather. He's got like just a leather vest.
Of course.
It's
great. So now he has to fight. I think this is where he fights Shang. I can't remember, but this guy actually or no, it's the other guy.
Yeah. So like first he fight, I think like Ying. This one was Yang or something like that.
But this guy has the sword, right?
Yes.
I think.
Yes, he does. He does because he knocks him out and gets it at one point.
Yeah, but then at this point, I love that James Hong like turns to like the woman, the sexy lady henchman, and is like, go. And she like walks into another room and opens up some stables that are there and releases
lets out horses.
Horses just come running.
What are horses?
Why are there horses there?
I thought like half of these were at like some abandoned dock in like
factory,
LA Pier or something like that.
There's just a bunch of horses. What is happening? Which lets these horses free, and the horses like trigger his
PTSD again. Yes.
I'm like, what is? It's so fucking weird.
But this is 100% where James Hong is just chewing it up.
Oh my god, he comes in with that face.
Dude, can you imagine how much fun he had making this film?
I'm sure a ton. It's utterly
But he's just
insane.
like has a fan out, waving it in his face,
like dancing around,
just taunting him.
So funny, dude. Oh my god. I love too, while he's fighting this guy, there's this great moment where he literally throws a flying kick and then 3 flying punches in a row, and the guy just stands there and lets him do it. Yeah, it's like, okay, don't try to block it or do anything. But he is able to get the sword briefly after that. And then right as he has the sword, the cops show up and they're like, time to get like it's like a bust. Like the fight club is getting broken up. So everybody bolts and tries to get out of there so they don't get arrested by the cops. But as they're leaving, the hot hench lady takes the sword from him and is like, give me that. But he did kill, or somebody, I don't remember how that guy died, but he gets void to the other.
Yeah, I forget how he got killed.
Because I don't think Steven killed him.
No, I thought it had something to do with
somebody else shoot him or something.
No, like when James Hong's like it might have been like Shang, like James Hong's like, hey, he's failed us. He needs to be like killed or something like that.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
You have brought great shame.
I don't remember.
Extra bad guy points, kill your own son for failure.
Yeah, he ends up dying though, so he gets voiped into the ether. And at this point, this is my notes to say, I don't even have a clue what's going on.
I don't even have a clue what's going on.
Oh god. But anyways, James Hong does explain that Steven has to die so that he can live and have his revenge, or maybe Steven says that about James Hong. One of the two. That's the point, though. That's the premise, is that they got to kill one has to die so that the other can live or whatever.
Yeah.
To die so that I may live.
And then I love maybe in one of the most incredible little gearing up for the final battle moments. Not only does our main character, he's got to go get all of his gear. He literally crafts his own sword the night before battle.
Steven, you are our Forged in Fire champion.
Steven, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion.
Exactly. It's literally the night before the big fight, and he's sitting there like, whang, like making his sword for battle tomorrow.
It's great.
That's pretty good. I liked that a lot. I think he just makes his own version of the sword. It looks very similar.
It reminds me of, what are the is it Attila the Hun? The Sword of Mars?
I have no idea.
Something like that. But it reminds me of the Sword of Mars, and I'll stick up an image of that.
There you go.
It looks like.
Yeah. He talks about that this is the sword that killed that like Alexander the Great, or specifically Stephen's old version of himself used to kill a bunch of people of the Mongolian people.
The sword that killed my sons will be used to sacrifice you to my gods.
The Macedonian warrior who it's like took on an entire like army
with this sword. Or
it was
whatever.
one man like destroyed this entire Mongolian army.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then this is the line where Steven says, "I never died."
I've never died. You put the dreams in my head.
You put the dreams in my head, he says to James Hong, insinuating that when he says I've never died, I was like, so does that mean
is he immortal?
Is he immortal? Like, is that what's going on? I couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
It is very confusing.
Yeah, I have no idea. And then we find out that there's this weird tension and drama between the evil female hench lady and Corey, because they had a relationship back in the day where they were both the daughters of James Hong, but Corey slept with the enemy.
Yes,
I think.
She betrayed
their people
also
or something.
was like warning him and stuff. There's a bunch
I have
of stuff.
no idea. I have no idea whatsoever.
I told your father you made love to him.
But anyways, Alicia Silverstone tosses evil hot lady onto a bunch of spikes and kills her off of a
Thank God we had all those jagged pieces of metal laying around.
Yeah, she impales her on a bunch of spikes, so she gets voiped. We find out, like I said, Corey was ISIS back in the day, and that she was James Hong's daughter, but slept with Steven or something. I fucking who knows.
We're like speed running the ending.
Yeah, the ending it's chaos. I was also like, this might be the same building they filmed the end of Flying Ryan in when they're
could be.
Honestly, could be. And then so anyways, it's basically the final two. It's Steven is fighting Shang up on this
they're up on a catwalk
or whatever, and James Hong is watching from below.
He's like channeling mystical energy and crap,
and he's like, kill him, my son! Kill him! And so he, at the last second, he pulls out a dagger.
Yeah, he pulls out a dagger, like literally a switchblade.
Yeah. And throws it to try to kill Steven, but at the last second, Steven turns.
Yeah, switches position with Shang. And
so that Shang gets the knife in the back and gets killed by his own father. Oh, no.
Shang is also like positioning to go for like an overhead shot, but then he's like, forgive me, father, and drops the sword.
And it falls and impales James Hong.
Forgive me, father.
Directly
it's
into
incredible.
His chest. It is the best moment in the movie. It falls directly into his chest, and they all get voiped, quickened into the ether. It's fantastic. But then the sword is stuck in a stone.
Yes,
and so he literally sword in the stone.
Sword in the stone, pulls it out. And then he says like, "You're free, Alexander," or something like that. Chucks it into this air, and it just disappears.
It voips into the nether as well.
Yes,
apparently.
For you, my king.
I guess, I don't know. My last note is, boy, that made no fucking sense. So I don't. I have no idea what the hell happened at the end or what any of that meant. I don't know if it's good, bad. It's close.
It's close. There's some funny stuff in it. James Hong is clearly the best part.
James Hong is definitely the best part. They don't give him enough time to chew the scenery. I guess I'd say it's good, bad, but like
very
barely,
blurry. Yeah,
barely.
The fact that they got an actress who looks so much like Alicia Silverstone
that
is
was
hilarious.
Very, very funny. Yes.
When she showed up, I was immediately like, "Hang on, what did you do in Batman at the time?"
Yeah, it's very interesting. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, you can do us a favor by heading over to patreon.com/GBorBB. Support us there, get access to bonus content, and all that kind of good stuff. You can also support us by buying merch. Head over to tpublic.com, search for Good Bad or Bad Bad. All the links are in the description down below. Buy that merch. We made one t-shirt sale last month, Kyle. I got the email saying, here's your $2 for it. I was like, yeah.
You can get everything from laptop bags, mugs. There's tons
anything
of stuff.
you want. Yeah. I have a podcast called This Films Lit where we talk about movies that are based on books. When this episode's out, our most recent episode will have been She's the Man / 12th Night. So the Amanda Bynes movie, She's the Man, where she pretends to be a boy to play soccer.
It's called 12th Night?
That is based on Shakespeare's 12th Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a spin on 12th Night, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that'll be the most recent one when this is out. Unless it comes out very quickly, then Into the Wild would be the most recent episode. But I think by the time this is out, it'll be that one. So that's gonna do it. As always, keep watching movies. You know, you can check it out.
Yeah, you can check out.
It was on YouTube, right?
G2. Yeah, this is what this one was.
Yeah.
Or Mortal Conquest, which sounds like
Mortal Conquest.
Your soul is mine. That would have been great if James Hong said that.
He should have played Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat. That would have been sick.